Hello, I'm Amy Keigher. I am the Natural Resources Agent for Johnson County Research and Extension. And today, for the Silver Clovers class, we are going to be going over how to collect seeds from some of the flowers that you've grown possibly out in your backyard. Specifically, what we've got today is echinacea, which refers to about 10 different species of coneflower. These are native flowers that are common around here. Specifically, most of the species you probably have in your yard are purple coneflower or pale purple coneflower. They all have similar seed heads that are these very spiky seed heads. The ones that we have here have turned brown. This almost is a little bit too late to be collecting the seeds, but I see a lot of the seeds still in here, so they're still good. What you really want to look for throughout late summer and fall is the stems turning brown. Once they turn brown, you can clip them off and you can collect the seeds if you want. Collecting seeds from these is helpful if you want to spread them out to other areas. Otherwise, you can just let them fall off naturally and then they will start spreading. Let's get down to business here. So you can see if I take one of these, there's a whole bunch of seeds inside here. They are not the pokey part that actually gives it its cone shape. These can be a little sharp. So there's a couple different ways to actually get the seeds out of there without stabbing your fingers. Some people like to throw these in a bag like so, and then you just really shake them up. You shake them up because at this point they're almost just falling out of the flower. I keep ripping the bag, whoops. So, and then you just kind of dump out what you've got. And what you're going to end up with is a lot of these just black pieces like this. And again, these spikes here, these long spikes, those are not the seeds. What are the seeds? Some people think they look like shuttlecocks. They're these, they're small, kind of whitish colored. They're at the base of that seed head. And those are the seeds that you want to keep. Everything else, you can just throw it away. The other method that people use to collect these seeds is kind of just what I did, but you wear gloves and you just really tear it apart just like that. And then you just kind of go through this, sift through it, and pull the seeds out. Now, to get a pound of these seeds, that would take about, for certain species, it takes about 96,000 seeds to get about a pound. So each of these flower heads will have hundreds of seeds on them. They don't necessarily have high germination rates, and you can imagine if they did, one of these flowers would produce a ton of coneflower plants. So just keep that in mind that you collect all these seeds. Not all of them are gonna turn into a nice, beautiful coneflower plant for you. What you want to do is make sure that they're nice and dry. If these seeds are still green, if any of this is still green, it's too early, they're going to be too wet, and they're likely not going to produce for you. So after you've got them collected, you're going to put them in a nice dry bag. And some people like to, instead of putting them in a bag, they like to just scatter them immediately in late fall. Let the seeds go through winter. They do very well in winter going through that process. The plant itself will go dormant. The seeds, it kind of breaks down that seed casing. Or if you don't want to do that, because there's always a risk that birds will come and eat them, if you don't want to do that, you can put all of these seeds in a little baggie, put them in your freezer, and then in the spring, take them out and scatter them that way. Always put a little bit of soil on top of them if you do it that way. but it's a really good way to keep the seeds and keep them away from birds, because these plants are spread, the seeds are spread by wind, but mostly by birds and other wildlife. Coneflowers are very good for a lot of different types of pollinators, bees and butterflies, but they also have some medicinal use for humans. So coneflowers have been found to help your immune system, kind of bolster it against disease and that kind of thing, and they've actually been used for a long time for that purpose. They're not just pretty, they've got multiple uses. Coneflowers do not require a lot of water. That's what makes them easier to grow. They can grow in partial shade to full sun. And you can imagine out in the prairie where these would be growing, there would be times when they were shaded by taller grasses, but then also times when they were just out in the open. And they do well with that. So that's, again, what makes them nice and easy to grow. They're also perennial, so once you plant them and they become established, you don't have to worry about going out and buying plants over and over and over again like you do with annuals. So that's very nice as well. So if you want to learn more about seed collection and wildflowers in general, you can always go to our website, which is the Johnson County Research and Extension. We also hold classes here. We just held one that was a wild seed cleaning class, and we plan on doing that more in the future. We have a newsletter called Knowledge for Life that shows all the different classes that we hold, so be on the lookout for those. But also look at our webpage. We've got a lot of great resources and a lot of knowledgeable people here at our garden hotline that can help you with any of your questions that you have for all these wild species.